In this video, we shall reflect and meditate on community life. The reason being that today in consecrated life, this aspect of community living has been subjected to very serious questioning in many parts of the world. So I thought we shall reflect on this very important aspect of consecrated life. First of all, community life is itself a mission. Many of us feel that doing some work or actively involved in mission can replace community life. But as for me, it is important to know that living in community life is itself a mission because living in community is a tremendous witness, a powerful witness to consecrated life. Often enough, we know there are many young boys and girls who would like to join consecrated life after seeing the way the sisters, brothers, and priests live their life together as a loving community. And secondly, community life also is very important because in community life we learn to live with others. And most of us have experienced in our life living with others even before joining a religious congregation. Some of us have lived in hostels, some of us in dormitories, some of us as paying guests, and all of us in the context of a family. And therefore, we carry all these experiences when we come into a religious community living. Thirdly, in community, we are challenged to change and to grow. A mature self-love, that is a growing awareness of who I am becoming. It adds strength, clarity, and confidence to all of us. And in a community, we are challenged to change, to convert, to grow, to reform, and thus respond to God's constant love for us. And fourthly, in community, we are the presence of Jesus in the world. So after we have experienced mutual love and respect in community, we become a mirror of God's unconditional love in community. We have become much more accepting of ourselves and more compassionate brothers and sisters in our community. So in community, we come together because of a common desire to be the presence of Jesus in the world. We don't choose our community. It is God in Christ who has chosen us to live in a community. And our community, whether it monocultural or multicultural, it is primarily a community of faith and not a community of choice. And fifthly, sharing is the center of community life. Each person's experience of God and his response to that experience must help to guide our community to respond to the growing needs of the day. So sharing the state of our heart, sharing the mission, sharing our joys and sorrows, they all become very important part of our community living. And a communitarian life is an expanded presence. So we believe God's love has no boundaries. And therefore, our living in community goes beyond all boundaries of race, color, language, region, caste, tribe, and you can add whatever you want. So, our life in community is boundaryless, goes beyond all these, and hence I call it an expanded presence. And lastly, and which is very important, is those who live in communities, they live longer. So, in difficult times, together we depend on God to strengthen and protect us. So, all these moments point to the fact that community life also is our mission. So, sociologists tell us that life is easier when lived in community, and people who are isolated, people who live in loneliness, they tend to live harsher, shorter, and difficult lives. I do not know if you agree with me, but somehow God gives different gifts to different individuals. So, when we come together and live in a community, this community can be a religious community, it can be intentional communities, it can be families or joint families, or it can be any type of community. The gifts are freely shared, respected, and appreciated. And it takes maturity to see the benefits of community. And not all is well all the time. We know there are many communities breaking up, many families breaking down, and many intentional communities disintegrating. But we have to work through relationships and with the different personalities. In the end, it is only faith and great love that can sustain and help us to overcome difficulties and challenges. And that is how communities are made of. So I wish each of you all the best in your community. Thank you.